the stands a little bit. They all love to see the type of dynamic attacks from Fellipe Andrew, and
well, there's a special allure about the Absolute division, right?
Yes.
And all eyes are always on the Absolute division and whoever emerges as the winner, but it's a spectacle. That's one of the best ways to describe it. It's really one of the best things you can hope to see at any major Jiu-Jitsu tournament is the Absolute division. And immediately, Wallace Costa hunkers down into this low posture, passing position. But Fellipe Andrew throws up a triangle. He's got one arm in. Costa manages to bring his head out. I feel that anybody who plays that head-down passing game, they're going to know what it's like to defend triangles.
Absolutely.
Especially as a heavyweight like Wallace Costa. But that doesn't mean that he can hang out in Fellipe Andrew's triangle. Because as we said earlier, Fellipe Andrew has one of the deadliest triangle attacks in the game, a really savage, a lethal triangle armbar that he'll throw up from guard with the quickness of a cobra strike.
Absolutely. Well, I agree with the game plan of Wallace Costa here, actually. I think the double under pass specifically takes care of any open guard. I mean, with the exclusion of if you make a mistake, spider guard, getting caught in a triangle. But notice there's no De La Hiva, there's no butterfly guard, there's no half guard. It's all stacking. And it can be a very good way to mitigate the ability for Fellipe Andrew to just throw up his legs and catch submissions, especially the way that we heavily regarded Fellipe Andrew's footlock earlier. Wallace Costa going for double unders is a way to slowly pick up the hips, even tire out the legs of Fellipe Andrew.
What I think is really interesting to note is that Wallace Costa has a hashtag printed on his gi, just underneath his team logo, in Portuguese, Força e Grosseria. And it basically translates to strength and rudeness, because his game, there's make no mistake, he is a GF team competitor, and the GF team competitors are renowned for their intensity. They are renowned for being hard-headed, very aggressive, very dynamic competitors. But Wallace Costa himself, and I'm not saying this again about his personality, I'm using this purely as a description of his jiu-jitsu. He is a bully on the mat. He is an absolute bully. He is at his best when he's throwing his opponents around, when he's smashing them, when he's putting them in very terrible positions. And the fact that he has those words printed on his gi should give you an indication of his kind of jiu-jitsu.
It definitely requires a lot of strength, especially from a hunched over position, not even in a necessarily predominantly athletic position, but now as we look at him, Fellipe Andrew's definitely trying to throw up any sort of submission attack and get Wallace Costa off the scent, but Wallace is staying really true to this double under position. And again, a lot of the game plan I feel like we see just in different ways, whether it's in a 50-50, staying true to a slow, measured passing system, or other ways, you see them trying to burn time. Like, you don't need to get everything done within that first minute.
Right.
You need to make sure that you're settled in, that you can understand what you're up against, and try to use the most out of the 10 minutes for every one of the matches. Fellipe Andrew shaking out the left hand. You see him actually letting go of that grip. One of the popular defenses for double unders is grabbing a sleeve control over both of over the wrists of the person passing, and Fellipe Andrew actually just letting go of his left hand and kind of hanging out, almost as if to say, all right, I'm here, I'm waiting for you to move so that I can move as well. You see now he's putting his left hand behind the head. A little bit of possible visible frustration coming out of Fellipe Andrew in this match, which again could be a part of a game plan.
Oh, absolutely. I think that Fellipe Andrew, well aware of the kind of game that Wallace Costa plays, and he is very aware that the best thing to do against a heavyweight competitor who relies so much on pure strength, like Wallace Costa, is you've got to ride out the initial storm. You've got to wait for them to get tired, and sometimes that only comes in the very dying phase of the match, the last minutes, the last seconds, because going up against somebody like Wallace Costa head-to-head early on is going to be a tough task. And he needs Wallace Costa's energy bar to kind of drain out a little bit before he can start launching up his attacks. So Fellipe Costa right now, even though physically they don't look too different, there is a difference in size and strength. I think that Fellipe Andrew is very smart here in playing a patient game, because when he will attack, when he attacks, it's going to come quickly and it will probably be decisive. The question is, of course, is whether he can catch Wallace Costa at a stage that he's open enough to such an attack.
Yeah, now you see the game open up a little bit. It's one of the double-edged swords of the double under pass. Is it could take a while to pass the guard. And here we see another triangle attack by Fellipe Andrew. Oh, and Wallace Costa right back to the double under. And as I was saying about double under being sort of a double-edged sword possibly, it could take a while to pass the guard, and it's a little tiring. It's a bicep-oriented move. It requires a little bit of your back, a little bit of your biceps, so you have to have sort of the endurance mentally and physically to make that pass happen. Now you see him lifting up again. He's looking for a leg drag over the top here, but Fellipe Andrew doing a great job keeping his lower back arched so that he slides along the mat, as you saw there. If when getting double under passed, you are able to engage your lower back, keep your shoulders on the mat, and slide on the back of your head, it is a formidable defense. So far, the score is still 0-0. No advantages for either competitor, though Fellipe Andrew has thrown up a couple attacks. It has been Wallace Costa, the tale of this match really being Wallace Costa attempting this double under position. And now,
well, the question is that we see a little bit more of a stack now, but when does Wallace Costa, when does he put his foot on the gas pedal? When does he really effectively try to pass Fellipe Andrew's guard? Because holding on to the hips in this position is not enough. Driving forward is not enough. That he needs to get Fellipe Andrews' hips up off to the side. He needs to stack him. He needs to throw by. He needs to do something effective to show to the referees that his time on top has not been wasted, that his time on top has been effective in dictating the pace of the match. That's what the referees are looking for.
So far what I'm observing is that Wallace Costa's increase in activity right now has sort of come as a means of necessity, right? I mean, we have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the match, and Fellipe Andrew has grown a little more like, come on, let's get the ball rolling. Let's open up. And he's even going so far as to let go of one of the grips. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if he lets go of both grips. And it's more as a result of Fellipe Andrew moving to open up himself that Wallace Costa's trying to throw by more, trying to get a pass going. But mostly it's been simple attempts to stack and go for leg drags, but not too much of a deviation from this game plan for Wallace Costa. No. And again, like we've seen so many times, it seems like that might have been the game plan going into this match.
Oh yeah, I'm expecting a big blitz from Wallace Costa in the latter stage of this match. And I think that blitz will give Fellipe Andrew an opportunity to launch counterattack. Because right now, the grips, the posture, and the refusal to move from Wallace Costa, Fellipe Andrew throws something up. It's about the worst possible thing he can do from here.
Yeah, 1 minute and 20 seconds left. You're starting to see a little more activity out of Wallace Costa.
A reminder that the winner in this match, of course, will go through to face Eric Muniz in the absolute final tomorrow afternoon here at Pans. The very last match of the black belt divisions will be the men's absolute final.
Oh, and an omoplata attack here at the very end. Omoplata is oftentimes very hard to submit, but you can turn it into a sweep situation. Fellipe Andrew definitely very good at turning these submission attacks into sweeps. Wraps the lapel around his own leg.
Wow, what an interesting grip. That makes that grip incredibly strong now. It's going to be difficult for Wallace Costa to rip his arm out. He's doing his best to posture up, but that's a great attack here from Fellipe Andrew. Doesn't get the advantage, though. It didn't threaten the submission enough to warrant the advantage. It was a solid control position briefly there, but it's going to be impossible for Wallace Costa to get out of that lapel grip now. You could see it all the way up around his shoulder, wrapped around his upper arm.
And he would need to completely disengage from the position, and with 3 seconds left, there's really no reason for him to. This is going to go to a ref's decision. All 3 referees are going to have to render who they...
2 judges to 1. So it's going to be Fellipe Andrew, Eric Moniz in the final tomorrow.
That's a good final.
That's a great final.
That's a great final.